And I guess we're ready to go. So did we have any takers for the morning prayer real quick? Okay. All right. Tony's going to address that.
Father, thank you for our health and strength on this day and to wake up to see another beautiful day. Thank you for these individuals that are working together to try to preserve the hard work that the people of this neighborhood have come together to try to preserve. Please allow us to have an additional strength to fight this process which would devalue our homes and our lifestyles and our community. Father, whatever decision comes, we will accept it and rejoice in your blessings every day. And we will continue to fight this pestilence that is upon us. We will not be afraid. We will be diligent, and we will band together. Thank you, Lord, for everything that you do. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Was everybody able to hear that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good deal. I have it on lecture mode to keep down the level of static. So Tony and I right now are the only two voices you'll hear, but I can tell if you start to speak, or as they say, raise your hand, it will tell me that you're trying to speak, and I will unmute you. So that everybody can hear what's being said for a minute, I'm going to put you guys in lecture mode. Good morning again. Of course, I'm Yvonne Nelson, and this is the August 1st edition of our weekly meetings. I want to start with a couple of quick announcements. If you know anyone in need of food, we have two right here in the community from 10 a.m. to noon at 837 Craft at Auburn, and at 250 East Rains Road, which is Bishop Patterson's former church that Gary Faulkner took over, and it's now something else, from noon to 2 p.m. So literally they could get a good week's worth of supplies. If you know anybody, please let them know. And of course, Light, Gas, and Water is asking those who need to not wait till their services are disconnected to approach them in advance if they need help. So we always want to be about the community and give little things. And at the end, I'll ask if there are any other announcements as well. Welcome, Ms. Wanda. Thank you for joining us today. I want to start off by saying it's been a very eventful day, a week rather. I know a lot of you did listen in to the City Council meeting last week, Tuesday, and I want to encourage you to do the same thing on this Tuesday. And I'll tell you a little bit more about this Tuesday in a minute. But last Tuesday, there were two cases initially. One was Glenview about a cell phone tower, and J.B. Smiley stood up and went with the community. It was very encouraging to hear him do that, and we're praying that Councilman Ed Ford Sr. does that with us, because that will squash everything as he's done in the past. The second case was Balmoral neighborhood, and they're over near Park in Linfield, where the Cecil's and Snooks used to be, and by the YMCA over there. And there's a developer who's kind of in bed with the council person, and the councilman is ruling against the neighborhood. They have the same exact thing going on. Residentially zoned land, R10, just like us, being used for industrial purposes. They want to put an office building in the middle of this neighborhood, and the neighborhood is saying no. So they were represented by Genevieve and Jeff Land. And so I got in touch with the attorneys Tuesday. They called me back Wednesday, Jeff did, and I went out for an hour meeting with them on Thursday at noon that lasted 2 hours. They're a young couple. They dated for 12 years through school. They've been married 4 years. We all got along wonderfully, and they have offered to do 3 hours of representation for us at City Council for $150 an hour. So I'm starting a campaign for 45 to 50 houses to donate $10 so we can make this happen. We'll get back into that in a minute, but I think that that's way low. And I was very impressed with everything. We exchanged lots of information, and we're going to put this to a vote, even though I see some people are missing, just to see what kind of outcome we might have in doing this. And basically, the price is much lower, not because they're young, new attorneys, but because I've done all the legwork. They said they had 132 votes or opposition on their petition. I petitioned the same site I use that tries to take your money, but we had 302 at that time. We've got 332 now. So they were thoroughly impressed at what we've been doing as a community, and basically we can learn from each other. They live in the Balmoral area, so they are doing that pro bono, but they do have a person, a retired resident, I do believe they said he was an attorney, who does all the legwork, sets up the petition, drives the people to it, so on and so forth. So I was very impressed. I have that conversation recorded at their consent as well as mine. And if anybody would like to hear it, I can certainly download it and mail it to you. I probably already downloaded it. I would just have to email it to you. So we'll come back to that. Today at 3:30, of course, we do have the Kroger Management biweekly meeting. We've seen a lot of improvements in our local Kroger store. The object here is to get people to shop local, stop going across the border. That's why we don't have any nice sit-down restaurants in Whitehaven now. We will travel. They will not. We need to turn some of this around and make Whitehaven the community that it deserves to be. The memorial is on hold, and Tony's going to bring up how we're going to do that shortly. Again, about the city council meeting this Tuesday, they have, this is what's in the agenda. It's item B, our case number PD 2004, Whitehaven Works at Graves Elementary Plan Development, located at 3398 Graves Road, north of Winchester, east of Graves, and west of McCorkle, containing plus or minus 9.814 acres in the residential single-family 10 R10 district. The applicant is the Shelby County Board of Education / Made in Memphis, LLC, Glankler Brown, PLLC, R. Hunter Humphreys, and Mark T. Job, Jr. Representative. They have Mark's name spelled wrong. The request is limited light industrial uses with the intent of operating a 3D printing and production operation, which would create customizable jewelry, collectibles, and other memorabilia with an ancillary use for a vocational technical training facility. The Land Use Control Board twice voted approval. This one says with conditions. OPD said rejection. The City Council action requested is to set a date of public hearing for PD 20-04, and the suggested date is August 18th. Now, we were already told that that's subject to change. On that, let me unmute and see if anybody had any questions. Any questions or comments so far? Can everybody hear okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me continue in this fashion then. One moment. I want to bring to everyone's attention that also on August 4th, the only one supporter back in May was Abundant Grace Fellowship. And Dwayne Hunt is the pastor over there. They're one of the early voting sites there at Shelby Drive in Mill Branch, just in case you're not familiar. Number 18 on the resolutions is a resolution to accept a pellet grill valued at $800 for Fire Station 39 from Abundant Grace Fellowship Church, Pastor Dwayne Hunt, Council District 6, Super District 8. This resolution is sponsored by Fire Services. So it appears to me we rubbing shoulders with Elvis Presley and Graceland and the city of Memphis. I don't know if it's a conflict in interest, but I will tell you that the attorneys noted several conflicts that we've been subject to already. Things that as lawyers, I know they're wrong, but they picked up on it as well. I'm unmuting at that point to see if there were any questions, comments, or suggestions on that tidbit of information. And if there are none, Tony.
I have one, yes.
Okay.
Restate what that fire station is and what it will be, a barbecue grill?
Yeah, it said a pellet grill in the amount of $800 for Fire Station 39. Fire Station 39 is up by...
Right.
39 is Holmes Road, the one that they're building. If I'm not mistaken, I did a story on it back when the old station is still in operation, but they broke ground with a black construction company to build a station right next to it. So it's like East Holmes, just a little bit east of Elvis Presley Boulevard, and the new station is, I've been kind of going through there every now and then taking pictures. I didn't see anything going up, but they have broke ground, and I don't know what they're doing, but I haven't been through there since reading this yesterday. But Station 39, if I'm not mistaken, is Holmes Road at Elvis Presley Boulevard. Okay. Any other questions on that? Okay. Let's see. Got a couple of things that I printed out and a list that I'm going from. Okay, City Council meeting on the 4th. Those two things will be mentioned, about the 18th and about the resolution for the $800 for the grill. Tuesday email by Monday late. Okay, I want to send out an email, and the gentleman just told me before this meeting started, there's an interview I did with him about Whitehaven and Graves Elementary School, that he's going to publish it at 10 a.m. tomorrow. So when I send the reminder out Monday, and I said it'll probably be late Monday, about reminding people to tune in to that City Council meeting Tuesday, I'll include the link and as much information as I can about what's going on. I received an email Wednesday at 9:06 a.m. from the president, Joyce Wilson of Bluebird Park Estates Neighborhood Association, and I'm going to read it to you. Actually, it came in at 8:55 a.m., and she had called before that. Good morning, Dr. Nelson. BPENA will conduct its first association Zoom meeting on August 8, 2020 at 10 a.m. Some BPENA members have voiced concerns about the proposed rezoning of the area and the use of the school as a training and light manufacturing facility. Other members are in favor of the proposed changes to remove the blight from the neighborhood and create jobs for the Whitehaven community. To give the membership a fair and balanced view of the issues, Dr. Nelson, I invite you to speak on behalf of the McCorkle Road Neighborhood Association. BPENA members Howard and Beverly Robertson have agreed to speak in favor of the changes to the school. Each side will have 5 minutes to present its arguments. Members will have an opportunity to ask questions. After that, a regular BPENA business meeting will begin. Please let me know if you will participate. Joyce Bailey Wilson, President, BPENA. And of course, I accepted, and therefore our meeting at 10:30 may be a little delayed. So let me unmute and ask, are there any comments with the request for me to speak?
I'll make a comment. This is Reggie Lake from on Bluebird, and I'd like to make a comment. Just the fact that you've been invited to the neighborhood program, I think is good for you to advise them what they may or may not know. This group happens to be in opposition, and we need to tell them why. I think it's good that you all coming together and discuss this. I think more neighborhood communities should get involved as well.
And I agree. And thank you, Mr. Lake. I certainly agree, and I asked if the McCorkle Road neighbors would also be invited to this meeting. And like other meetings I've attended for Bluebird Park Estates, which, by the way, does not include Bluebird Road, I was not allowed to bring other members with me. So I'll have to report back to you all at our delayed meeting next Saturday what happened at that meeting. And I will be recording as usual. I also have a slide presentation, and I'm going to run through the screens right now. My cover screen is people of color living with pollution due to Joel Weinschankner's and EPE's industrial. And what they won't tell you is that London Lamar is a 2-year member of the McCorkle Road Neighborhood Development Association. They also won't tell you that Beverly Robertson made a $50 donation against the factory in May and was speaking for it in June. Now, I can't make accusations that I cannot back up. And right now on the screen, when you get a copy of this presentation, you will see where I have highlighted her name, the date of May 9th. The McCorkle Road Neighborhood Association is the payee. The amount is $50. And in the memo line, campaign against the factory. And we date our mail when we receive it. And Deborah dated it, received on 5/16/20. And I have the post office page for the informed delivery that shows it was in her mailbox that day. So why in May did you give McCorkle Road $50 because you did not agree with this, but yet a month later you lead in the battle? Tell me what happened. Somebody please help me to understand. If it's not what I'm thinking, straighten me out. It goes on, what they won't tell you, things we already know, the price of the land. There's a lot of other places nearby that Joe Weinschankner, I've told you, is doing this in New Jersey where he lives. But what is 3D manufacturing? As with any modern manufacturing technology, Printing has several side effects that are less than ideal for maintaining a healthy environment. The total impact on 3D printing is inconclusive because 3D printing uses two different classes of plastics, thermosets and thermoplastics. Thermosets are materials that, once cured, cannot be returned to their liquid state. Recycling is impossible and is considered to be hazardous material that requires careful handling and recycling when uncured. 3D printing materials behave differently when discarded. PLA, an organic plant-based thermoplastic, will decompose in landfills naturally, while oil-based plastics will not decompose at all. The plastic filament in the machine leaves unused and excess plastic in the print beds, which ends up in landfills and negatively affects the environment. Emitted radiations, up to 200 billion particles per minute, may settle in the bloodstream or lungs, posing health risks, including cancer and other ailments. Depending on the materials used, the 3D printing process may cause the release of fumes or particles. They say these are emissions, carcinogenic particles, large amounts of ultrafine particles, and hazardous volatile organizations or compounds that they call VOCs that are toxic in enclosed spaces and can potentially make machine operators and other employees become ill. 3D printers make it easy to create 3D knives, guns, explosives, and any other dangerous and identity theft weapons like bank machine card readers. Criminals and terrorists can therefore manufacture them undercover. Counterfeiting is one of the most significant disadvantages of 3D printing. Anyone with a product blueprint can forge products very quickly. Patent violations will increasingly become more common, and identifying counterfeited items will become practically impossible. As 3D printing evolves, patents and copyright holders will have a harder time protecting their rights, and companies manufacturing unique products like this one will be significantly affected. You've all asked, what's going to happen if this doesn't work? We don't know. 3D printing technology can make a product design and prototypes in a matter of hours, as it uses only one single step. 3D printing eliminates a lot of stages that are required in subtractive manufacturing and does not require a lot of labor costs. Adopting 3D printing may decrease manufacturing jobs. Memphis relies on a large number of low-skilled jobs, and the decline in these jobs could dramatically affect the Memphis economy, not increase it, as you are being told. Now, it goes on to say what you can do. Of course, we need you to call them council members, all 13 of them, and tell them no factory. We need more people. Call in 300-0250, stating their name and address and saying their opposition. And we also need people texting the word Graves to the number 64600 to sign the online petition. That is pretty much what I'm going to be saying at that 10 o'clock meeting on Saturday. I'm going to open it back up for discussion. One moment.
This is Miss English. I think that's very good about what you're saying about the first time you brought the point up about the 3D, the effects on the community and the toxic and all that. So I'm glad you bringing that up.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
What time is that meeting on Tuesday? The city council meeting?
Tuesday's meetings are 10:30. They'll be in council, and you can watch it online all day when they're in committee. But when they bring up the items that we have a say on, and you have until Monday at 3:29 to send in comments to the city council, because you have 24 hours before the meeting, and the meeting starts at 3:30 every other Tuesday.
Okay, so I can send in my comments the day before.
Yes, ma'am. As long as it's 3:29 when they get it, because they get real particular and they won't read anything that's received after 3:30.
Okay, I got you.
Okay. So the last 2 pages just go on to say it was recommended for rejection because it's not good for you or your community. There may never be a school or training center involved. It will create a less than ideal situation for the residents. The impact of the daily operations are imprudent in that location. It will adversely affect the quality of your livelihood. There are several nearby places industrial zoned. It will forever unduly injure, damage the use, value, and enjoyment of your property, and it doesn't even meet Memphis' own 3.0 plan. And I go to a thank you screen, and I'll be open for questions. Tony.
That panel you just read?
Yeah.
I think you should move that closer to the opening and then restate.
Okay. So put that last panel first.
Yes.
And then go to the reasons.
Yes, we don't like this in line. And then restate it again at the end.
Okay. I'm making a note of that. Did everybody get that? Summarize it first and last, okay?
Yeah, summarize and restate.
Okay. Okay, this is Rita. I would like to ask you this. Since we got so much going on around our homes right now, like we have a chemical plant on Brook, we have the garbage place on Brook. Now you talk about bringing a 3D printing press that also can affect our health long term. What are they trying to do to our community, with all these different things around us? And that doesn't seem like it should be close to people that have residents.
Tony?
Yes, ma'am. I can answer that and just quickly give you my quick background. I was a reporter that concentrated on these issues. I concentrated on these type of issues for many years as a Tri-State Defender. Our neighborhood simply sits right in the middle of the industrial zone, but they want to take it over and turn it completely industrial. They see us as not being powerful or informed enough to know how to fight against this. They've been proven that wrong, but it's simply the fact that we are seen as whether they have, it wasn't designed that way or it just came about, but we are seen as the expendables at this point. If this area is to grow, we are between 2 industrial zones. They simply look. That's a black neighborhood. It's not that crucial. It's not that big. Everybody else against it is away from it. If they have to be sacrificed for growth, they'll just have to be sacrificed. The problem is this plan does not fit a smart growth pattern. And also, you still need green space to combat the pollution we're already surrounded by. Thank goodness we have it there. But the last thing also to be brief is these companies are not required to have an exit strategy. There is no guarantee that he will make a profit and it works. If it does not work, what are we left with then? We left with a worse blighted situation, and we do not know how this plastic is going to seep into the environment. It may seep into the ground. For all we know, it may seep in tiny, tiny pellets all over the neighborhood. It simply does not fit. And simply, we are just in the strip. At first, we were a perfect enclave. Now, they simply want to grab it and turn it into part of the industrial zone. And they see us as expendable.
All right, I'm unmuted. Could everybody hear Tony okay?
Yeah. Answer that for me. Yeah.
Okay.
This is Rita, because I was really concerned about just listening to what's going on, and no one seems to care about what we have to go through living in this area. And this is some of the things that we brought up when we did waste protection about all the cancer in our area, all the illness and people that died in the few years that this plant has been, that Waste Connection was over there, and they could not tell us what all the garbage that was coming over there. So now we're talking about bringing 3D that also can bring some health hazards with it.
What my research came up with. Go ahead, Ms. Rita. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just, my thought process is like, we really don't matter to them in the long run of things because it doesn't affect anyone that's on the board but us. And so if you're saying that this is like cost effective, they trying to take out everything around us and turn it into an industrial zone, then it's like we have no clout.
You do not have any clout unless we get together and make enough noise. That's the exact. You just pinpointed it. It's simply ugly politics, and that is why, and not to pinpoint anyone, but that is why those who are for it, they're just simply making a smart corporate move because they believe more in dollars than they believe in anything else. They have enough money, but with those types, it's never enough. They think because this man is a billionaire, because it's especially enterprises, they think it's inevitable that they get their way. But I don't believe in that. And this is simply a spiritual battle. There's no reason for this thing, and it fits in too many other places in a safer manner.
It's just that, as the attorney said, as in the case in Balmoral neighborhood, the margin, the profit margin for the cheap land increases the applicant's ability to just make bukus of money on this whole idea. It is not to benefit the community. And this is what I got to get those people to understand. Number one, how did she go from giving us a $50 donation on May 9th? We received it May 16th, and June 29th, she's leading the cause for it.
Corporate move.
Corporate!
And that's scary. That's scary.
But
It sounds like another race connection situation.
Yeah.
May I say one other thing, please? This is a perfect, matter of fact, this is a textbook case of corporate white power. They figure that those blacks over there don't have enough clout. Nobody knows them. They have no well-known voice. And that is how come the first voice out was the leader of a large church that many people know because it's a voting site. It's a typical political move. And they simply want to just include us as part of the industrial zone. And whatever problems come after that, no one cares. They're simply attaching our neighborhood to the $100 million incentives that Grayson has already received. They're giving them the land for free. It's just that simple.
Yep, and they're using the school as a loophole to get that land up there. That's what they putting the school in there for. They just said 3D factoring. They never would have succeeded. But adding the school in there through a loophole, that's what they're trying to do.
As a matter of fact, they did exactly that way. They introduced it as a school first and then threw the factory in behind it.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a perfect white power move. But white power means gold power, which means green power. And that's what people, they hold the Bible all day, but they think that's more practical.
Okay, so again, in order to have the speakers that we need on our side May 18th, regardless of what we heard from Ed Ford or anybody else, I'm asking 45 families to do a $10 donation, so we'll have $450 to pay $150 an hour for 3 hours of attorney representation. They're going to throw in hours for free, so I'm actually going to do 100 houses and hope to get 50, so we can give them a little bump because they are awesome. And I don't give compliments where compliments are not deserved. But if you heard them Tuesday, the wife, Genevieve, Jenny, she goes for your juggler. She is not playing, and that's exactly what we need. I saw on channel3.com yesterday Light, Gas, and Water is taking over that area in North Memphis. And they're trying to stop the same thing out there. What Memphis has got to understand is that we cannot win solo. We've got to combine forces and work together. Bluebird Estates needs to work with McCorkle Road to protect this community because we all live here. We all are going to be negatively affected. It's just that it's going to be in a higher degree for those that are closer to it. We got 11:05. I want to mention that an illegal request to place speed bumps, and that's my terminology, on Graves Road between Winchester and Porter is still being debated, even though the application that people signed saying they wanted the speed hump says, if you don't read this, I don't care, you're still going to get it if you say you want it. And nobody got schematics. The person who applied for the speed bumps, he owns property that his mother left him on Graves, but he doesn't live on Graves. He lives in Lakeview Gardens. His namesake son lives on Graves, and he's petitioning for speed bumps because his mother couldn't cross the street to get to the mailbox in 1992 when she moved over here. She's deceased now. It's a personal vengeance in my eyes. People speed all over, and then they say, well, what would you rather have? I was out in Collierville in Germantown yesterday at my dermatologist's office, and as I was coming up the street, I saw exactly what I wanted, a sign that told me I was speeding, and I got all the way off the gas and took a picture of it. But there was a car going past me. The speed limit was 35. The car was doing 35. So the speed limit shows 35, but I was sitting there taking a picture through my dirty windshield. That is what I want. Solar panels. I don't want to see speed humps. They're not concrete. There's some on dogwood. They tore up within a month of being put down. We called it in. 311 sends out somebody. He flaps the thing back over near where it goes, doesn't bolt it back down, and takes off. They are not going to give you what you need. And again, it's corporate greed. It's one company that's getting all of this funded. We need other things in our community than speed humps. People need to stop speeding. They need to stop throwing trash. They need to be the right kind of citizens. But that's a whole nother story. I'm going to check that off. Just want you to know we're fighting a losing battle on that one. I don't feel like that with the school. But if they signed and said they wanted it, they're probably going to get it and hate it as soon as it comes. People have seen the big gas line on Brooks Road. I stopped and asked one of the young workers yesterday. That is a gas line that is being replaced by MLGW. I just wanted to know if Waste Connections was up to something, and that's what I was told. I specifically questioned, was it oil coming from Valero? What exactly was it? And the reply was it was gas. So everybody's still unmuted. Did anybody want to make any comments on those two items?
Well, I thought this, Miss English, I thought a long time ago they said it was coming from Valero, though. They put a line on that same street on Brooks all the way from Valero going to the airport. That's what I had heard years ago.
And I asked him about
that. Got a line too, huh?
Evidently, he said that the Light, Gas, and Water guy said when he sees those lines, they're big enough for a car to drive through, the ones that Valero uses. And I went to that meeting I went to the last one Barbara Cooper had at Dr. Netter's church, and it was about Valero putting this pipeline through. They just had red lines and green lines. I didn't see the size of the pipes, but he said those pipes are big enough for cars to drive through. I also asked Chris Simmons, who helped us get the lot at Graves and Brooks with the trucks that were all over the place, cleaned up. He now has been promoted to Rose Hill's position with Shelby County government. He was city code. Now he's over county code. And I was happy to reconnect with him. He said they're doing stuff all over the city of Memphis, and they do not have to go through code. They, being Light, Gas, and Water, do not have to get any special permits. They just do whatever they want to do, when and however they want to do it. So he didn't have any idea. So Friday, I just stopped and asked somebody, and that's what I was told is gas. We had some stakes, and I had been putting signs up, and they were of a cheaper value, but they were pretty and colorful. And I had even drawn a sign, so it had been put up mistakenly on Olympic private property. So they took the sign and the stakes down. They threw my handwritten out. 12 hours it took me to do that sign. They threw it away, and I challenged and got the stakes back. So I got the stakes up on Winchester at Graves, at the church, Sammy Hamilton's church, Church of Christ, and I have the stakes up at Winchester and Lakeview, right there on the lot that's clear. And the stakes on Lakeview disappear. So no signs went up this week. Tony, who lives in the house with all the appliances, he's retired now. He worked on the barge, but they made him, somebody called him in because he's significantly cleaned up that place. It's not nearly as many appliances out there. But he took them up and laid them at the light pole change thing. And if he did that again, somebody came along, put them in their car, and went off with them. I called, but I didn't get a response, and I'm surprised I was able to leave a message because all while he was working, his mailbox was always full. I haven't had time to go ask him if he still has them, but I asked my son to leave them in the ground because I'm having to pay him 2 or 3 times a month to go put these signs out. I just don't want to leave the sign up, but maybe that's what I'll do through August 18th. If I get them back up, they'll just be up. But I hate to do that because on the 8th, the meeting won't start at 10:30 unless that, and they did agree to put us first at the Bluebird Park Estates meeting. But just know if you come in at 10:30, as soon as I hang up over there, I will be on the line here. And you can call in early. I don't have to host a meeting for you to be online. We had somebody call in, not hear anything, and hang up and not call back. So please know, even if I'm not there, you guys can talk amongst yourself until I get there. I did, Tony.
Designate somebody to run the meeting until you show up.
You? Tony will run the meeting until I show up. It was his suggestion, ain't that right? You? Yeah. I love it. Yeah, he said, let me shut up from now on then. Believe
Dr.
me.
Nelson.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the name of the company that is by the Graves Road old school building? I don't have. I thought I had it, but I must have misplaced it.
Yes, ma'am. That's Miss Miller. It is Elvis Presley Enterprises, doing business as Made in Memphis. CPE, doing business as Made in Memphis. They are the applicants with Joe Weinschankner, who is a 3/4 owner of EPE, heading it up.
Okay, I wanted to make sure I had all that down. I've been in touch with some people in Lakeview, and I'm supposed to be talking to someone later on today. to see if they're going to go ahead and get in on this, because they will be affected negatively by this.
Absolutely.
Even the transportation of building materials to build that facility will cause all kinds of traffic problems and everything else. So, and these people who live in Lakeview, they have to get back and forth to their jobs, things like that. So, like I said, I'm in contact with someone who's a very, very prominent business owner in Memphis, and I won't say who it is right now, but I have to have some
information. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. And you brought some people to the meeting last week, and we want to thank you for that as well. I see a couple of Miss Sandra Henry. Welcome. Miss Henry. Miss Henry. 6562. I know that number.
Of course, I was muted out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Thank you for what you guys are doing, and it was because of Mr. Lake that I got the message. So thank you very much.
And thank you both. Mr. Lake is awesome. He had them lamb chops. Yeah, he got me up at Kroger spending money, and I got a freezer full of food, but I didn't have no lamb chops. Boy, oh boy, did we eat good the other night. Thank you, Mr. Lake. Y'all got to check that Kroger out. I'm telling y'all. Only thing they got left to do in my eyes is redo those floors. Everything else from the ceiling down is perfect. It's just a smaller location. And I invite you to come back to this same number at 3:30 to listen to the improvements that management has made in only 2 weeks because we asked. It's not
so there will be a meeting 3 p.m. today?
3 p.m. today on Kroger. We do them every other Saturday. And we met July 18th, and this is going to be our second meeting we even got dedicated parking for our senior customers. Come on now. What Kroger you go to, you got the handicap spot, and you're going to have a sign dedicated in the next spot for a senior person. Not handicap, just our senior customers.
I fit in that category.
Amen. It was my idea, and I ain't even old enough yet.
I appreciate it.
I love it. And we're going to have more youth involved so that when they see people violating either the handicap or the senior parking spots, they're going to go and get somebody and tell them, and we're going to give them a fake Kroger ticket or something to let them know, don't do this again. We'll put a barrel on your car. So we got to train the people in the way to go. But the parking lot is clean. The store is clean. They're pulling in new items. If you have any suggestions, like Mr. Lake did with the lamb chops, speak, and it will be taken care of. They will address it. And we're trying to get it where you can order your groceries online and just come up there in the fire lane and pick them up. They're going to have to do some remodeling, but they're even looking at that. And I'm sure you'll hear about that tonight on the call as well. So I'm very pleased, and we're moving on to Walmart and some of these Dollar General stores too. So if you see something out of place, please let us know, because this is our community, and we know how it needs to be and how we want it to be. So I'm all for making it what it should be. I'm going to open up. We got 11:19. Are there any general announcements? I want to turn things over to Tony and then wrap it up. Any general announcements? If none, Tony, it is on you.
All right. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Due to the fact of the unfortunate recent suicide of Lisa Marie Presley's son, we have to change our plan for the candlelight vigil at Graceland. what we are planning to do, and we will have sign off by Wednesday, is to do a press conference in front of Grayson on this Friday. We have to come up with the time, but we need about 12 people to attend this press conference, and we need members that will commit and be there. We simply need to make a statement and provide information to the media. Now, our goal is to reach national media, and because the Elvis Presley Vigil will be on the 8th, what we would like to turn this as a pre-vigil vigil from the Whitehaven community development neighbors, etc. We are not going to give away what we're going to say, but we're going to leak it to the media and let them know we're planning a salute for the people that will be coming in for the vigil, because they will start arriving on that day. They'll start arriving early this week, as a matter of fact. But the simple fact that we go there to make a statement should get us at least local media, but we are shooting for national media. So we need as many as members as possible to just simply come and attend. We will have letters and information in a media briefing to provide to the news reporters, but we'll be putting out the call on social media as well that we need you to support this effort. This is why we're doing this. We need you to support this effort. And one moment, please. Now, what we like to do is we want everyone, we will give you the verbiage, but we're going to make a general statement, and we're going to chant, "Get your knee off our community." This is simply a move to try to get media attention to our matter, and of course we'll provide them with the details for them to make reports from. But we need members to commit, please, by Wednesday, that you can attend. This will be this Friday. We'll give you a time by Monday, but please, sometime Wednesday evening, it should be after work, sometime between 5 and 7. And there will be next Friday on the 7th.
All right, let me unmute everybody. 1 second. Okay, did everybody hear that okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any questions? What about our I know my son, he ain't going. He ain't gonna do it. I ain't even gonna try to say Douglas. And then look, I want y'all all to say happy birthday, because he'll be 35 tomorrow.
Oh, that's
Birthday.
Amen. I was 33 when I bought this house, and he was 33 when he bought it from me. I think that's pretty darn good.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just told you my age, but I don't mind. No, but yeah, I'm wondering if we could get the millennials. I don't even want to go to the commission to vote, and I'm not even working with my best friend Deborah this year. I'm petrified of this coronavirus, and I'm not taking it mildly, and I know most of our neighbors shouldn't take it mildly either. So we're going to try to work, but if you have a youth that went, especially that went to graves, please mention it to them, because we're going to be social distancing and we're going to be safe. We know things happen, but we'll make it happen. My thing is, I got to get some information out requesting these $10 donations for this attorney and his wife to represent us at City Council. We've come too far to go back now. This is entirely too important to just glaze over. And the corporate moves of London Lamar and the Robertsons, they got to answer to their maker when their time comes. It's simply about the money. You don't write a check in May with those words on it, and then a month later, you're supporting it? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Somebody.
I would just like to ask her, I like to. Can we email? Do we have an email address for her? I would just like to ask her what made her make that decision so quickly to change.
I will do that Saturday, and on our meeting Saturday, I will report the answer if one is shared with you. I will do that. I will post that. Tony?
All right. I'd like to make a statement to the membership.
Get that $10 to you.
I was thinking about giving everybody their email or their address on Ridge Lake Boulevard, but I think we should probably get it to our treasurer and let her just do one check from the neighborhood association. So as soon as you can, you can do Cash App, PayPal, whatever is convenient. I wouldn't do a money order. I would do a check or cash. We will give you a receipt, maybe not on the spot, but I don't finagle funds. It's not enough zeros behind it for me to even consider doing so. I'm like Katrina Robinson. If I'm going big. Now I know I'm wrong to say that, y'all, but she got a really bad attitude. She got a really bad. See, I met her. She was pretty. And for all of you who don't know this, Lorenzen Wright's wife, Shara, is her sister. Yes. For all of you who don't know that, it's something wrong with the women in that family.
In the right.
Now, y'all know I'm crazy, but I'm real with it. Yeah, I'm real with it. I'm real with it. That they are blood sisters. She killed Lorenzen. This one done took this money for helping people and helped herself.
The local Kardashian.
Yeah, the local Kardashian, Tony said.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm all in for good enterprise, but not in the sense of hurting others. I really don't see that happening.
No.
But
what's her name so I can avoid her like the plague?
We call her COVID. Just call her COVID Connie.
Okay, Tony said call her COVID Connie.
The COVID Katrina.
Yeah, COVID Katrina. That's it.
What's her name? I'm serious. What's her name now?
Katrina Robinson. She's the
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The state senator that took Reggie Tate's place. Wasn't it Reggie Tate that passed? And yeah, but she had to see before he passed.
Got that money.
Yeah. Yeah, she had a beauty school or something. She even bought a house out here in Whitehaven somewhere. They had a whole list of things on her. And so now you got people saying not guilty to a charge, but they got everything in. She did it in the Capital One. Come on. Are you really that stupid girl?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then she was arrogant as all get out. I'm out there doing a story on my time for my newspaper. It's in one of those editions at ILoveShelbyCounty.com, but I don't think anywhere in there's one quote from her. It's just my research on her because she didn't return my calls. She didn't return anything for me to talk to. She was arrogant. I can be arrogant too, but gee, willikers, she wasn't interested. I was miniature time, so I'm not going back to the woman. I'm gonna pray for her, but she gonna be locked up for a little while.
I know.
Yeah, we are at the end. It's 11:29. I just want to thank you all for coming as always. Remember, I'm gonna leave it at 10:30 tomorrow. Next Saturday, but I may be a little tardy, so just really talk amongst yourself, and I may already be here because if they're gonna put us first, there's no reason why I shouldn't be. Because I told them, you know, they see the signs. They know we've been doing this for a while. I think it's very distasteful for you to jump a meeting in on top of mine, you know. So, but I'm going to be there, and you guys have an idea of where I'm coming from. So if you want to talk to me and in private, you have my numbers. Please call me. Any ideas that you have, I'm willing to address, incorporate, whatever the case may be.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I have 11:30 a.m. You guys know I don't like to take you overtime unless it's absolutely necessary. Don't forget, 3:30, same number, Kroger. I guarantee you won't waste another hour. And we went over 15 minutes last time because we had one woman talking about Instacart, and that's not even a Kroger function. So hopefully we'll be on time this afternoon as well. I want to say thank you. God bless you. Pray for me because I come out with it. If it come up, it's coming out. But it's always the truth. Right. It's always going to be the truth. All right. Well, thank you again. Again, everyone, God bless. Be safe. I will get some literature out, and we'll start doing our little 450 campaign.
Okay.
$10 a family. All right. Thank you and goodbye. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That was really good news.
Well, thank you.
It really was.
Got to keep the humor.
Yeah. I'm glad you got it back.
I got it back. I had lost it.
Yeah. I'm going to, well, you know my life is good.
You got to go. This is your dad's day, isn't it? You got to go.
Yeah, I got to change. I got to make the change.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going there, but I got to go take care of my cousins first.
The female cousin?
No, this is my best friend.
Oh.
We just call each other.
Miss.
Well, I'll tell you about the odd couple. Mitchell, anyway. I'll be back to the house in a little while. I put a list together for the fundraiser.
Okay.
I got up to 10 people to call right now, and then 2 they could write me a check.
All right.
Lisa in Florida, because her father left her a fund specifically for these type of things.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And she's ultra different.
Deborah, you still there? Miss Cunningham? Cool. Hang on. I'm fixing to ask for a lot of work, it looks like.
Oh, okay.
You sure?
Yeah,
because I'm listening.
I'm back to the house and go out. Yeah, I'm just letting you just giving you a general rundown. That was a great meeting. It really was.
Awesome.
Oh, the other thing is, when you ask Beverly and them, and imagine, they are my best friends, business-wise. But simply ask them, is this the position trust market? We try to get some work from this guy. It's like I said, it was a smart move. I don't like it.
Right.
If it was just like James Carville and his wife, if it was me, I would have had him say yes and her say no.
Yeah, especially after she get this check.
Exactly.
You know.
So this is simply for the money on the book. Oh, it's mighty Sunday. You pulled me back on the money. I think I was just venting because of our childhood. But don't call yourself community leader, please.
Not me.
No. Yeah, we didn't ask you to lead us.
No. Dwayne, yeah. Mm-hmm. He don't deserve that kind of attention. He's a nobody.
Well, minister supposed to won't be nobody.
Yeah.
That's all.
All right, Tony. Thanks. Thank you. So what do you think, Deborah? Miss Cunningham is on with us, too. She wanted to make sure she was on time today, and she was. She didn't miss a beat.
Think about what?
What's lying ahead? The additional representation, the $10 a household for 45 households. Even though I don't think Gordon plugged in today. But yeah, I'm gonna put together on Tuesday. After Tuesday, I gotta work on a memorial for Mr. Reed. I gotta scan all of these pictures. Some of them are they've sweated to the glass, and good grief. I gotta work on that so I can have it ready by Tuesday.